Okay, welcome back to the wrap-up of Fredericksburg 160th anniversary playthrough with Across Rappahannock, the Glory 3 system. We just finished up with turn 7, wrapped up the game. Just wanted to do a little bit of a wrap-up here. Excuse me while I get some glare off there for you. Or try to at least. There we go. Do a wrap-up of the game and give you kind of some of the high-level overview of what went on, kind of give you some thoughts, ideas on what I think the game system was like, as well as other options here as well that I used during the game. So I wanted to start with the overview, kind of where the battle was. Got my hand held to give you a little bit more of the action and show you kind of the zoomed out version of what happened. You can see over here to the Confederate right, Union left, how much of a push Jackson actually got. Almost got to the bridge. Pontoon bridges there. And if he captured those, that would have been a significant loss, and the Union couldn't do anything. Coming down here to Smith, see he's turned as well. Really couldn't do much. You've got Brooks and Newton down here trying to push. The real big push was Wilcox in the center, and that's where the big fighting was. This is a little different than what actually occurred. As people have seen and studied this, the Second Corps threw themselves at Marye's Heights without the success that we got on here. Wilcox basically did the same thing, again, to the heights itself, but not necessarily to the center over here. And Confederates just basically had to hold them off. And that's what they did over here with Lee and Longstreet, just kind of holding them off, getting reinforcements in as much as possible, and trying to just basically hold the line to keep them from capturing the heights. And that's what they basically did. So this piece of it here I felt was very historical in terms of what happened. A little bit more ground gained, but it still was quite a slog over here. Over here towards the Hamilton's Crossing and the woods over here, this was definitely different. Jackson was given full rein to attack, and he did. And you can see the results over there. Now, Burnside himself in the game is hamstrung a little bit in terms of the number of activations they could have. If you notice, the 5th Corps and the 3rd Corps across the river here didn't activate at all, pretty much by design in terms of what I had. If I had tried to bring those in, that would have meant I would have limited these units from moving and doing stuff, and that would have just been even more disastrous for the Union. So 2 whole corps did not activate for the Union at all, as well as the artillery. Artillery really didn't have a lot of effect in here. A little bit different. The artillery had some effect in the real battle. They were able to provide some cover against Marye's Heights and some cover back here against Hamilton Crossing. So with the game mechanics of the artillery, not quite sure if that's modeled very well, or to a degree that would be historically correct. From the infantry perspective, yes, I think everything is good there, much like the other Glory systems. That modeled it very, very well, and held out. The biggest thing, and this is true with any war game, is the fact that we have way too much knowledge of the situation. Obviously, we know the battle, but we obviously have this bird's eye view of what's happening. So, for instance, we knew exactly what was in these woods over here. Real life, they wouldn't have known what was occupying there and been able to make a decision about attacking this weak link here that we are able to do, and of course force Marye's Heights a little bit more on here as well. So again, this gives us a little bit more capabilities than actually could have occurred. Maybe able to be adjusted for in the game mechanics a little bit, I think. But given the lack of Fredericksburg games out there, you can see why. I mean, it's pretty one-sided. Confederates don't have to do much. Union has to do everything, and even that, it's going to be futile, most likely, in the end. So, but it is a good campaign study as to what to do. Burnside himself hamstrung his command with the levels that he put in, with the 3 grand divisions, and then within there the corps within those divisions, which really gave a very long chain of command to getting orders down to the units to move and to activate and attack and defend. And that caused a lot of problems, and that's modeled pretty good here. I thought that was pretty good from the Union perspective. Confederate perspective, I think they had a little bit more latitude, just because they've got the shorter lines, they're on the defense. The activations over here, activating all of Lee Longstreet or Jackson at one point in time. So they have a little bit more capability in there as well to do what they want to do behind the lines. But in general, I think very good to show what the effect of the Battle of Fredericksburg was. And it was quite the battle. I want to show you a couple of pieces here, a couple of companion pieces that I had going along with this. There are actually 2 books. People may have read them before, seen them before. 2 very good, highly recommended. The Fredericksburg Campaign by Francis Augustine O'Reilly, and Fredericksburg Campaign, Decision on the Rappahannock. This is a series of essays done by several historians about different aspects of the battle. Very good, very nice commentary on the battle itself, whereas the Fredericksburg Campaign by O'Reilly really gives you a detailed history of it, gives you everything that went on with the battle, leading up to it, the battle itself, crossing the river, the attack on the heights, Hamilton Crossing, etc., as well as post-battle, right up until Burnside is relieved. So 2 good companions that I use with this, and a good campaign study in terms of, I thought, of Burnside and his lack of a good command structure and the effect that it had on the battle, and how Lee, being masterful with the terrain and the positioning of troops, as well as a very short command chain, was able to manipulate the battle in his own way. And really that's how he won. The fact that he could trust in Longstreet and Jackson to hold the ground appropriately. He didn't have to micromanage or do anything other than ensure that what was happening was the way he wanted it to go. Meanwhile, Burnside across the river was in the dark, quite honestly. And that's shown within here. The fact that I couldn't move 2 corps. A lot of the artillery was stuck behind the river. The corps that were across the river, were limited in terms of what they could do together to try to attack and try to move and capture things. So it's a really good campaign, a really good command structure, or study of the structure, and how it was affected, how it affected the battle and its outcome. So I hope you enjoyed this. I thought it was very good. I've played this, like I said before, really haven't dived into it as much as I did with this time for the 160th playthrough. It was really enjoyable. Hopefully you enjoyed this brief rambling and wrap-up summary of it. I will be moving on to other things within the 160th anniversary and do some more battles and studies of this. So appreciate you watching. Stay tuned for more coming soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.